Hi guys, welcome to YOGALATES with SJ and to this self-love yoga stretch. So this is the perfect class to do at any time of the day or night where you are wanting a very deep, relaxing and unwinding time. A time for you where you can completely connect into yourself and unwind and relax. So you don't really need anything for this, but if you would like, you might like to grab anything that feels good. So maybe a blanket, maybe some cushions, pillows, bolsters, anything like that. We're just starting in a seated position, finding length into the spine and just starting to roll the shoulders up and release the shoulders down. And then keeping length into the spine, allowing the chin to come towards the chest. And then as you inhale, lifting the head back up, and as you exhale, lowering the head back down. Inhale, finding length as you bring the head back up through center, and exhale, keeping the shoulders relaxed, keeping that length into the spine as you bring the chin back towards the chest. Inhale, letting the head come back through center, finding even more length, and exhale, staying here. You might close the eyes or maybe softening the gaze. Just letting the head come all the way down and then starting to circle the head in one direction and keeping this going. As you do, just slowly moving and relaxing through the jaw, allowing the eyes to be heavy, the eyelids, eyelashes, letting go of the day so far. Whatever's happened leading up to this point. Starting to allow yourself to come into this beautiful time and space for you, slowing down. And then you might start to circle the head all the way around in the opposite direction, feeling into the sensations in the neck, allowing everything to release, letting the tip of the tongue soften to the roof of the mouth, allowing openness into the throat, inhaling deeply and exhaling fully, and then allowing the head to come all the way back through center. When you're ready, letting those shoulders come up again, releasing the shoulders down, finding even more length into the spine from the tailbone all the way out the top of the head, and then letting the gaze come over the right shoulder and then back through center, and then gazing over the left shoulder, soft gaze, and then coming back through center with the head, and exhale, releasing here, staying here, starting to round the spine, chin to chest, tucking the tailbone under, and then inhale as you come all the way back up, lengthening into the spine, looking up towards the ceiling, and untuck the tailbone, and then exhale as you round back, chin to chest. And then inhale, finding length again, heart is open towards the ceiling, and letting the head come back, and exhale, rounding the spine, chin to chest, and then inhale, coming back up, keeping this going in your own time and just moving in any kind of way that feels amazing for you. So it might be to move slowly with this or a little more quickly. Letting the shoulders relax, elbows are relaxed, and then we are coming back through center, taking your time to come all the way down, and we are coming to a tabletop position. So finding a beautiful tabletop position where the knees are in line with the hips, and then starting to bring the knees out wide, big toes together, and then starting to let the pelvis come back towards the heels as you lengthen the arms forward, melting the heart down towards the earth, forehead kisses the earth. Taking some deeper breaths, breathing deeply into the belly, and exhaling all the way out, feeling that exhalation, softening the hips, softening the pelvis, continuing to breathe here as you breathe deeply and feeling the belly as it presses down towards the legs. And as you exhale, releasing, coming all the way back up and staying here. Taking a moment here to find the top of the feet connected, The knees are connected, your knees are in line with the hips, shoulders in line with the wrists, and then inhale as you gaze up, tailbone up. Exhale as you round through the spine, bringing the chin to chest. And then inhale, shining the heart up, lifting the gaze, tailbone comes up. Exhale as you press the mat away, rounding into the spine, bringing the chin to chest. Just keeping this going, and as you do this, moving in any kind of way that feels amazing for you. So it can be completely random. You might close down the eyes or soften the gaze as you feel into the spine here, feeling into the movement. It might be to shift forward a little bit as you come forward. It might be to sit back a little bit towards the heels as you round the spine. Really allowing the whole body to start to flow more freely and allowing the mind to start to focus on your breath. Noticing those deeper breaths in through the nose, and as the air starts to release and come all the way back out the nose. Allowing the nervous system to soften and relax even further as you allow everything to connect here. Keeping the body and the mind fully connected as you connect into your breath. Releasing and letting go of any tension. Coming all the way back through center. When you're ready, we're finding a downward facing dog. Lifting the hips up and lowering the heels down. And then bending generously through the knees, letting the pelvis sit back towards the heels. And then you're lifting the hips back up and finding length through the back of the legs. And then bending those knees in towards the belly, letting the pelvis sit down towards the heels. And then lifting back up, allowing that length of the tailbone up towards the ceiling, allowing the heels to start to soften towards the mat, and doing that again. So generous bend into the knees as you bring them down towards the belly, and then lifting the hips up as you find length through the back of the legs. Staying here, and you might start to bend and straighten through one leg and then the other. Finding anything at all that feels awesome. So you might shake the head, no, nod the head, yes. Maybe wiggling through the jaw. You might take some cleansing breaths in through the nose and sighing them out the mouth. And you just let go of any tension, allowing it to come all the way out to the top of the head, down into the earth. Finding connection here, and then on your next inhale, just starting to lift your right leg up into a three-legged dog, flexing through the foot, and then engaging the core as you start to bring the knee forward and lowering the foot down. You can start to step the left foot back a little bit further as you lower down onto that left knee, and just taking a moment here, framing that front foot and finding a bit of length into the spine and rocking the hips down towards the mat. Starting to find a little openness through that right side. Inside of the knee, gazing over the right shoulder. Coming back through center and starting to find a beautiful stretch through the back of the legs. So starting to press the hips back as you flex the front toes towards the feet, bringing the feet down towards the knee. And then inhale as you rock the hips forward, opening the heart forward. Exhale, pressing those hips back nice and square as you get there. You come down, belly releasing down towards the leg. And then inhale as you come forward again as you shine the heart forward, shoulders away from the ears, gaze softly forward. And then exhale, and then just starting to walk the foot across the body. So we're finding a little cross of the shin across your mat, bringing the foot as far back towards the other leg as you like here. So we want to be in a position where the outer thigh on that right side and the outer hip are still meeting the ground. So you can bring the foot as far back as you like, or if you want a deeper stretch, just bringing the foot forward a little bit more to be more in line with the top end of the mat. You can stay up high here, or maybe coming down onto the forearms as you fold forward, and maybe even coming all the way down onto your stacked fists. Or maybe releasing the arms forward and just letting the whole heart melt down towards the mat, letting the belly soften to the top of the leg. Taking some really cleansing breaths here, sending that breath to any area of tightness, any area of discomfort that you can feel here. Just using your exhalation to invite, without force, to invite softness and for that space to let go. Knowing that it is safe to release, safe to let everything soften here. Might just let the mind continue to focus on the breath, noticing the air as it flows in through the nose, as it flows back out the nose. Maybe noticing the belly as it presses into the top of the leg, noticing as it softens away again. Ready, slowly gazing up, starting to walk the hands all the way back, and we're staying here in this position. We're just starting to allow the back leg to be in line with the side edge of your mat, so you've kind of got the hip and the knee in the same line, and then you've also got that same angle with the front leg. You've got to flex into both feet to look after the knees here. And then you're just starting to allow the torso to be directly facing to that front leg. And you're just starting to inhale, lengthen, exhale, walking the hands forward, lowering the belly down. Maybe even the forehead comes all the way down onto your mat. Or maybe it doesn't. Maybe you've got your arms stacked, and allowing the forehead to relax onto your stacked arms, or maybe you're up on the palms or the fingers. Wherever you are, just finding those deeper breaths here, breathing deeply in, full breath, and then releasing all the way back out. Empty, 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 empty. Nothing you need to do. Sit, breathe. Allow yourself to continue to breathe deeply. You might even slowly start to move further into this. Maybe if you've been on the forearms, you might start to lower down a little bit more. If you've been on those stacked arms, maybe you're releasing the arms and letting the arms come forward, lowering the forehead down onto the mat. And then when you're ready, taking your time to slowly walk the hands all the way back up, coming up to a seated position. This time we're going to cross the left leg to stack on top of the right. So we're coming to fire log pose here. So you've got the shins stacked, you've got to flex into both feet, and you're lengthening up into the spine as you inhale, and as you exhale, walking the hands slowly forward, keeping that length into the spine, allowing the hips to lengthen backward as the arms start to walk further forward, and as the forehead and the heart and the belly start to soften towards the earth. Just letting everything relax down here. Letting go. Deep breath in, belly expands. And then exhale, 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 exhale. Releasing, 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 releasing. You might imagine that the body is like a block of ice. And with time and with the breath, it starts to melt from ice into water, slowly defrosting. See the back of the neck, the head is heavy, elbows releasing, the palms, fingers, hips opening, tummy muscles relaxed. pelvis is grounded, tailbone is lengthened back. On an inhale, slowly, when you're ready, walking the hands all the way back up, finding length again into the spine, shoulders away from the ears, and then starting to unwind, coming all the way back to our downward facing dog. So just taking your time to slowly find your down dog, lifting the pelvis up as you start to allow some length into the back of the legs. It's okay if the heels don't come all the way down onto your mat. You can bend into those knees as much as you like. You might even walk the dog here, maybe bending and straightening through the legs. Just allowing some openness across the back body, allowing the head maybe to move in any way that feels amazing. Taking those cleansing breaths in through the nose and all the way back out the nose or mouth as you let everything go. Maybe you might come to stillness here, allowing the heels to soften down. And then as you inhale, just lifting that left leg up into your three-legged dog, flexing through the foot, and then bending through that knee, drawing the knee in, engaging the core, placing the foot forward, and starting to allow some openness through the hips. Hips are square, lowering the back knee down and untucking the back toes, starting to find that length here into the spine, starting to let the pelvis drop towards the mat as you find an open heart forward. And then we're finding that twist here. So you might take the left hand to the inside of the knee, gently pressing onto the inside of that knee as you gaze over the shoulder, and then unwind, coming all the way back through center, letting the foot be in a comfortable position where you can frame that front foot, dropping the pelvis forward and then pressing the hips back as you lift the toes towards the face, allowing the head to drop down, head to knee as you press the hips back even further. Inhale as you shine the heart forward and pressing the hips forward, and then exhale as you find length through the spine, bringing the head down towards the leg, flexing the toes back towards the face, and then dropping the pelvis down again, bending through that front knee, opening the heart, and then exhale as you press back, lifting the toes, finding length here into the back of the hamstring, the glute, and then one more time, shifting forward, hips come forward, and finding that release here. We're just starting to cross the shin across the mat and starting to shift that back leg back a little bit more. You can bring the foot back as far as you like here to that opposite leg, or of course if you want a deeper stretch you can start to move the foot a little bit further forward so you've got it more parallel with the front of your mat. We're finding length into the spine here, so allowing the tailbone to ground down, allowing the heart to shine forward. Maybe you're coming down onto the forearms here, or maybe you're coming down onto those stacked forearms, or maybe you're coming all the way down, allowing the belly to relax to the top of the leg, allowing the heart to soften down, arms might extend forward. Wherever you are, just making sure that you're in a space where you can breathe extremely deeply, so you're not feeling too restricted, but you can feel the stretch here, and just allowing the time and the breath to start to move the body gently into a deeper stretch. And if at any time you feel pain, it's really important to release out of it. So coming out if there's pain, but if it's discomfort, seeing if you can breathe through that discomfort, inviting the body to start to become more comfortable with discomfort as you breathe it out. Noticing as you do so that with each breath the body starts to become a little bit more relaxed. Maybe sending your breath to the space of discomfort, breathing there. Breathing into that space, sending love, sending kindness. then on your next inhale, when you're ready, slowly starting to walk the hands all the way back up, finding length again, keeping length through the back of the neck, finding that position where you have the back leg, the shin is in line with the side edge of your mat. You've got to flex through both feet, and the shin of the front leg is in line with the front of your mat. Allowing the torso to be square to the front of the mat, lengthening up, sitting up really tall here as you inhale. As you exhale, starting to walk the hands forward and allowing everything to soften down. So maybe staying high here on the finger palms. Maybe you are lowering down and allowing the forehead to come onto those stacked forearms. Or maybe you're allowing the whole front side of the body to soften all the way down into your mat. Wherever you are, just allowing the breath to continue to be deep. Breathing deeply in, full breath. And exhale, 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 releasing, releasing, sending love to every cell, every muscle, every part that feels discomfort. Using your breath to melt it away without feeling you need to make that happen. Simply letting the breath do the work, allowing yoga to do its thing without you needing to do anything. And then when you're ready, if you're ready, taking your time to come all the way back up, gazing softly up as you start to walk the hands back in, and allowing those legs to stack. So we're finding fire log on this side. So you're taking the right leg, stacking it on top of the left. You've got to flex into both feet. You've got the shin stacked here, the knees, and just starting to walk the hands forward with that lengthened spine. Allowing the tailbone to lengthen back, allowing the low back to continue to sort of pull back as you start to walk those hands even further forward, melting all the way down. Taking those deep breaths in through the nose and all the way back out. Maybe allowing the mind to continue to focus on those deeper breaths. Allowing the body to start to release even further. The fingertips, the bones and the muscles of the hands, palm, wrists, fingers, forearms, elbows, shoulders, heart center, forehead, the whole head, neck, and then taking your time when you're ready, coming all the way back up, finding length into the spine, and we are uncrossing the legs. Taking a moment, and then we're coming all the way down onto the belly. So starting to bring the forearms onto your mat, and shoulders are away from the ears. The shoulders are in line with the elbows, and you've got the pelvis released onto your mat. The pubic bone is released down, top of the feet connected, and letting the gaze be straight ahead, and then letting the chin come down towards the chest. And then you are starting to lower all the way down. We're coming down onto stacked forearms. So stacking one forearm on top of the other, letting the forehead come down onto those arms, allowing everything to relax down here. So the whole front side of the body starting to release, letting the glutes relax, letting the feet relax, letting the tummy muscles relax. Finding those deeper breaths, feeling the front side body as it presses down into the mat as you inhale, and as you exhale, feeling everything becoming even heavier, melting down and relaxing here. And then when you're ready, just starting to hover the forehead up off of your mat, gazing straight down, bringing the right hand onto the mat in line with the shoulder, gazing over that right shoulder. So lifting up, finding length here, and then just letting the gaze come over the right shoulder, and then exhale as you bring the head back through center, finding that release, and then inhale, coming back up again, lengthening up, and then letting the gaze come over the shoulder, and then coming back through center, lowering back down. Doing that one more time. So inhale, lifting up, keeping the hips pressing down into the mat, and length through the lower back. And you are finding that gaze over the shoulder, and then starting to let the head come all the way back and releasing down. Forehead comes back down onto those stacked arms, and letting the shoulders relax, letting the forehead be heavy, the whole back body, the whole front body, hips, the outer thighs, the glutes, tummy muscles, ribs. And then on your next inhale, just starting to hover the head up again, finding length through the back of the neck. Left hand comes onto the mat, and you are lifting up and gazing over the left shoulder, and then coming all the way back through center with the head. Forehead comes down, and then inhale, lifting up, keeping length through the low back all the way out to the top of the head, so the back of the neck is in that same line as the rest of the back, and then coming all the way back through center and lowering the forehead back down. Inhale as you come up, pressing that pubic bone down into the mat, keeping the hips pressed down, the top of the legs pressed down, coming up, gazing over the shoulder, and finding that nice twist here, and then coming all the way back around through center and lowering down, bringing the forehead back onto those stacked arms, and maybe even releasing the arms, letting the forehead come all the way down onto your mat. And then when you're ready, we're taking our time to come all the way over onto our backs, just allowing the feet to connect here onto your mat. You might heel toe the feet out a little bit wider. Just finding a position of the feet that feels really good as you allow the knees to rock over to one side and then over to the other. And maybe the hands are palm down for grounding here, or you might flip the palms and allow the palms to shine up towards the ceiling for receiving, finding a little bit more openness across the front side of the heart center, the front side of the shoulders, letting the back of those shoulders soften further into the mat, and just moving with this as fast or as slow as what you feel to do. You might let the head also come into this. Maybe the head starts to rock from side to side as you feel a little rolling pin sensation, almost like a little massage into the back of the skull as the head rolls over the mat. Maybe you might find that the knees want to stay over on one side for a little bit, finding a little deeper twist here into the hips, into the waist. Or maybe you're just flowing freely with that rock from side to side. As you continue here, just continuing to breathe. So breathing deeply in through the nose, and maybe you're releasing that breath out the mouth as you energetically release anything that's been kind of stored there, anything that's been holding or gripping, maybe any emotional tension or any mental tension or physical tension. Just using that out breath to start to invite the body to let it go. We store so much in the hips, so this is a really beautiful way of releasing the tension that might be there out of the physical body. And in turn, that actually releases it out of the emotional and mental body as well, because it's all connected, the mind, the body. And as we finish here, we're starting to move into our final resting shape, Shavasana. So maybe you might just allow the legs to go long, letting the feet come out even wider. Maybe they come out as wide as the edges of the mat. You might bring the arms out a bit wider, maybe flipping the palms to the ceiling. Any kind of little wiggles here that feel good first before allowing those deeper breaths in through the nose, feeling the whole front side of the body expanding. And then as you exhale, just sighing it out the mouth or out the nose as you allow the whole body to release and let go. Heavy, 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 resting here for as long as you like before going about the rest of your day or night. It was absolutely beautiful to have you join me for this self-love yoga practice. This 30-minute Yin Yoga. Can't wait to see you again soon. I hope you feel amazing after this practice, and you can come back to this anytime that you like for some self-love, self-care. Such a beautiful way to give yourself all the things that you need, letting go and relaxing. Take care, guys.